The rain in the city's downtown district was cold and relentless, turning the pavement into a mirror of neon lights. Verity, a patrol sergeant with a reputation for cleaning the streets with her boots rather than her badge, stood under the awning of a luxury hotel. Under her uniform jacket, she wore a scarlet silk tie and a bold red tactical vest that she treated as armor for her ego. Beside her was Thaddeus, a rookie wearing a bold red trimmed vest, eager to prove he was just as tough as a superior. Leaning against a white marble pillar of the hotel was Marius. To the casual observer, he looked like a drifter, wearing a heavy, oil-stained olive parka and a worn navy blue baseball cap pulled low. But beneath the rugged layers, he was wearing high-performance Navy tactical gear and a gold luxury watch that was a gift for 10 years of elite service. He was a Federal Marshal in town to serve a high-level warrant, waiting for his contact. Verity's eyes locked onto Marius. Her face underwent a terrifying transformation, a realistic, unmasked display of aggressive rage. She didn't see a citizen. She saw a stain on her beat. Her nostrils flared and a pulsing vein began to throb in her neck as she marched toward him, splashing through the puddles. "This curb is for guests, not for trash," Verity roared, her voice echoing off the hotel glass. "I'm waiting for a ride. Officer, I'm not breaking any laws," Marius replied, his voice remaining a calm, lethal royal blue tone. He stepped back defensively as Verity invaded his space, her chest nearly hitting his as she loomed over him. "You're breaking my patience," Verity hissed, her eyes widening in a terrifying display of anger. She reached out with a violent, sudden motion and grabbed the collar of Marius's heavy parka, jerking him away from the pillar. The force of the pull caused his navy cap to fall into the wet gutter. When Marius reached into his inner pocket for his credentials, Verity's aggression turned physical. She lunged forward and delivered a heavy-handed, aggressive shove to his chest, slamming him back against the cold, wet white marble. "Don't reach for anything," Verity snarled, her face contorted with anatomical micro-expressions of fury, his brow furrowed into deep ridges and his skin turning an uneven, mottled red. She grabbed him by the throat of his parka and pinned him against a stone, her hand slamming against his chest to keep him immobilized. Thaddeus moved in, grabbing Marius's arm and twisting it behind his back, his bold red vest reflecting in the rain. The witnesses, Penelope and Tobias, stood near the hotel's gold-trimmed doors, their phones raised to capture the raw, unmasked fury on Verity's face as she physically manhandled a man. Marius looked at Verity, his eyes turning a sharp, professional navy. "Sergeant," he whispered, "in about 30 seconds, your pension is going to vanish, and your badge is going to the scrap heap." Verity laughed, a jagged, ugly sound. She delivered one final, aggressive shove to his shoulder, pinning him even harder against the marble. "The only thing vanishing is you, drifter. Get in the car." The rain-slicked sidewalk outside the hotel had become a stage for Verity's ultimate undoing. She maintained her physical pin, her hand white-knuckled as it gripped the collar of Marius's oil-stained parka, shoving him deeper into the cold white marble pillar. Her scarlet silk tie was stained with raindrops, and her unmasked face was still twisted in a snarl of aggressive rage, the veins in her neck pulsing with a toxic sense of victory. Thaddeus continued to apply pressure to Marius's arm, his bold red-trimmed vest heaving with the excitement of the assault. "You're a nobody, drifter," Verity hissed. Her nostrils flared as she leaned into his personal space. "I could make you disappear into a cell, and no one would even ask for your name." Marius slowly reached into the hidden, reinforced pocket of his Navy tactical gear, which was now visible beneath his torn parka. He didn't pull out a weapon. He pulled out a heavy, gold-plated Federal Marshal shield and a high-clearance warrant folder with a royal blue border. He held it inches from Verity's wide, bloodshot eyes. "My name is Marius Vance, Chief Deputy U.S. Marshal," he said, his voice a low, vibrating frequency of power that made the air feel heavy. "And the only person disappearing today is the sergeant who just assaulted a federal officer on camera." The silence that followed was broken by the synchronized roar of engines. For blacked-out deep Navy tactical vans and two silver SUVs screeched to a halt, jumping the curb and boxing in Verity's patrol car. From the vehicles emerged a dozen marshals in full Navy tactical gear with yellow, U.S. Marshal lettering blaring across their chests. They moved with silent, terrifying efficiency that made Verity's local police training look like a playground game. A bold, extreme close-up video of the assault was already being beamed from the hotel security hub to the local precinct and the mayor's office. The footage showed Verity's mottled red skin and snarling expression as she physically shoved Marius, playing a loop on every digital billboard across the street. Verity's grip on Marius's collar failed. Her hand dropped as it burned, and her face turned a sickly, uneven shade of gray. The anatomical micro-expressions of fury were replaced by the hollow, trembling look of a person who realized they had just stepped off a cliff. The hotel entrance was now a gauntlet of accountability. Penelope in her gold silk dress and Tobias in his silver suit stepped closer, their phones broadcasting the liquidation of Verity's career to a live audience of millions. The regional director of the Marshal Service stepped forward, his eyes fixed on Verity's bold red tactical vest. "Sergeant Verity," the director said, his voice cold and final, "you didn't just clean the streets. You violated the Constitution in front of man who enforces it. The justice debt you owe the city is going to be paid in years, not dollars." Marius shed the oil-stained parka, revealing the crisp, elite Navy tactical gear and his gold luxury watch. He stepped into Verity's space. "You told me this curb was for guests, Sergeant. You're right, and you're officially uninvited." Verity, in a state of aggressive panic, tried to reach for her radio to call for backup from her precinct. She didn't get a chance. Two federal marshals firmly grabbed Verity by her arms, twisting them behind her back in a brutal, bone-deep lock. They forced her to her knees in the dirty gutter, where Marius's Navy cap still lay. Thaddeus was grabbed by his bold red trim gear and slammed face first against the wet white marble. "Liquidate her authority," Marius commanded. The marshals ripped the badge from Verity's chest and the scarlet tie from her throat, tossing them into the mud. They physically dragged Verity and Thaddeus through the rain, their boots splashing as the crowd of witnesses jeered and recorded the disgrace. They were dragged toward the Navy transport vans to be processed by federal authorities. In a final act of humiliation, Marius watched as Verity's duty belt was tossed into a green trash bin by the hotel's valet. Marius picked up his navy blue baseball cap, wiped the rain from it, and put it back on. He looked at the gold watch on his wrist. "The warrant is served," he said to his team. "Let's clear this street. It's finally clean." The power was destroyed. The curb was quiet, and the villain was liquidated.